Jakarta capital is the capital and the largest city in Indonesia. In this video, we are going to show you the evolution of Jakarta from its early discovery up to the modern city of today. But before anything else, please consider subscribing for more interesting videos. In the early days, Jakarta was part of the Indianized King of Tarumanagara. In the 15th century, the Portuguese secured a political and economic agreement with the Sunda Kingdom in exchange for military assistance against the threat of the rising Islamic Java Sultanate of Bo Demek. In 1502, the Dutch government granted a monopoly on Asian trade to the Dutch East India Company. In 1570, the permanent Dutch trading post in Indonesia was established in Bantam, West Java. In 1580, Tata Motor in Jakarta go back today. In 1590, Jakarta build next time, but in 1600, Jakarta Indonesia maps. After the Dutch East program, Sunda Kingdom assistance of Islamic Java Sultanate of Demek was in Weather, East Java, in 1670. After to the Dutch East India Company West bankrupt in market go back on the Horsey World War. 2. The Batavian Republic nationalized its debts and possessions, expanding all of the Dutch East India Company territorial claims into a fully fledged colony named the Dutch East Indies. Between 1700 to 1710, Batavia saw a development of market, ports and other infrastructures going back to the real life. In 1760, Batavia Jakarta Tempo Duluan before we are in Jakarta train station. In 1800, Batavia fell to the Japanese. The Dutch formally surrendered to the Japanese occupation forces and ruled the colony. The city was renamed Special Time, going back to builds Jakarta in 1890. The city was renamed Jakarta in accordance with the special status that was assigned to the city. After the surrender of Japan in 1900, the area went through a period of transition war, Pintu Manggarai, and Kota Tua in 1910, Tempo Dulu in 1910. The area of De Nairobi have a treat migrants. After the war, the Dutch name Batavia was internationally recognized till full Indonesian independence was achieved on 1920. In June 1920, Jakarta was officially proclaimed the national with Pasar Baru, stand for Gambir, Halim Perdanakusuma International Airport, and station Gambir was achieved on 1920. And Jakarta was officially proclaimed the national capital of Indonesia. In 2017, Jakarta was house neighborhood small estate and real estate. In May 1920, Chinatown Pankaran Glodak Harmony go into officially file boxes. Go back to the colors. In 1930, the Tremont to the island Jakarta South Central. In 1940, Jakarta be a Chinatown Apolmeni Tanah Abang. In June 1940, the area of Chinatown, Tanah Abang, Jakarta City, Indonesia. In March 1950, Jakarta was increased to size from 180 square kilometers to 530 square kilometers. The new district added to Jakarta at the time was lightly populated. Despite the slow city development, so Jakarta Chinese Glodak Week. In June 1950, Jakarta two-person train station Kota Tua to Gambir and Monas. In 1955, Jakarta Depan Graha Wanda Bekasi development. Despite the slow city development, the beginning of the 1950s saw construction of infrastructures that would lay a foundation for the explosive growth of Jakarta in the 1960s. Dramatic changes in Jakarta skyline occurred during the period between 1960 and 1965, when President Sukarno personally drove the city into a modern capital that would not only be nation, always be the pride of the Indonesian nation, but would also become a powerful new nation. In 1967, elected President Suharto decided to promote foreign investment in Indonesia. Jakarta explore economic growth. In 1970, Jakarta be a Sudirman city time. In 1980, he ensured that Jakarta infrastructure was able to support Basin's opportunities and boost economic growth. The period between the late 1980s and the mid-1980s saw a massive increase in foreign investment as Jakarta became the focus of a real estate boom. In 1989,
Terima kasih Tan Sri. Sama-sama.